At this point, we have over 400 movies on our database, and we're currently just displaying them all on our homepage, which leads us to a massive list of movies on our homepage. What would be better is instead we just display the recently released, or maybe those coming most soon, on the homepage instead of listing every single movie. So how do we do that? Well, let's hide our browser away and let's jump up into our movies controller. And we're going to be working within our index method here, as this is what's rendering out our homepage. Movie.all is going to query every single movie that we have inside of our movies table, which is not quite what we want. Instead of that, let's do const recently released equals await movie.query to get an instance of the movie query builder. And this will allow us to build out a more dynamic query to get to the movies that are just most recently released. Now, if you recall back, we created a query scope to check whether or not a movie is released. So we can make use of that directly within here as well. So we can apply scope.released, just like so. And now we're only going to get back released movies, taking those future dated movies out of the picture. We want the most recently released. So we'll order these by released at date in descending order so that we get the most recent movies first. And then we want to limit the results that we get back. Maybe we'll do 9 for right now. Lastly, we can go ahead and get rid of our movies all query and replace the state with recently released. Now we need to jump into our homepage and replace our movies with recently released as well. We can keep the rest of the information the same there. And we'll also switch the title here to an H2. And let's call this recently released, just like so. So we can give that a save. And let's jump back into our browser where now we have recently released movies. And we only see 2 movies here, which is not quite what I was expecting. So let's go ahead and hide that back away. And let's take a look at our fake seeder here. So dive into here. Here's the 2 movies that we're seeing. So we know that factory creation worked okay. If we scroll up a little bit here, the underlying issue is that we didn't overwrite the status whenever we were creating the movies from our data list. So if we take a look at the actual movie factory here, scroll up, the default status ID is writing. So we just created all of those movies as being written. What we want to do instead is add in the status ID here as well. So row.status ID equals movie statuses dot and set that to released. Let's go ahead and hide our text editor back away, stop our server, node ace migration. And since we reset last, we should be able to just refresh since everything should now be in the same batch. And then we can do -- seed to have this go ahead and seed our data along with this refresh. Hit enter there, and there we go. So now it reverted, remigrated, and reseeded everything all in one blow. So we can npm run dev to boot our server back up. Let's jump back into our browser. There we go. That's looking better. Now we have 9 movies actually populated. And in addition to that, we also have the first 2 movies being song titles. These boots are made for walking is definitely a song, and that's just what they'll do. So let's go ahead and hide that back away, open back up our text editor, jump back into our movies controller. This query is now a-okay and working as expected. And let's do the inverse of that query as well. So let's do movies coming soon. So const coming soon equals await movie query. So we have a scope for when a movie is released. What would be fantastic is if we had a way to tell if it's not released as well. So let's jump back into our movie model and let's give this scope here a copy and a paste. And we'll just make this nice and vague, not released. So we want to do where the status ID is not released. And then we want to do or where released at is null or where released at is greater than the current date time. So overall, we're saying where the status ID is not released or released at is null or the date time is sometime in the future. Any one of these use cases not being true will indicate a movie as being released, matching what we have in our released query up here. So now we make use of this query scope by jumping into our movies controller, going up to where we have our coming soon query and applying the scope.notReleased. And we'll want to order this by the release that yet again, and we'll order that in ascending order. And let's just limit this one to maybe 3. Now our not released is going to include the movie if the release that date is null. But technically for this query, if the release that is null, then it's technically not coming soon because it's not, we don't really know when it's coming. So we want to remove those from this particular query. So we'll do where not null released at. Give that a save. And this will work because we have our not released, if we jump back into our movie model, nested inside of parentheses for the where statement, thanks to us using this callback method into the where clause here. So let's go ahead and provide that into the state of our page. So we have released that, and let's do coming soon as well. Jump into the page. And let's give this section here a copy, and we'll put coming soon before the recently released. Change the title here to coming soon, and change this list to coming soon as well. Give that a save, jump back into our browser. And no, I think we had the H1 specially styled, but yeah. So our headings are there. Coming soon are these 3 movies right here. And then we have our recently released down here. Awesome. So everything does seem to be working a-okay.